The Malayalam film industry, known for its artistry and talent, harbors a grim reality. A reality where women face rampant sexual harassment, exploitation, and systemic discrimination. In 2017, this hidden world was thrust into the spotlight when a prominent actress was brutally assaulted, igniting a movement that would challenge the status quo. This incident led to the formation of the Justice Hema Committee, a body dedicated to bringing out the deep-seated issues plaguing women in cinema and demanding justice. This is the story of the Justice Hema Committee Report, a story of exploitation, abuse, and a fight for change in the Malayalam film industry. The catalyst for the formation of the Hema Committee was the relentless efforts of the Women in Cinema Collective, or WCC, an organization born out of the horrifying incident in 2017. The WCC, comprised of female actors, directors, and technicians, submitted a petition to the Kerala government outlining the rampant issues of gender bias, sexual harassment, and lack of safety in the industry. In response, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan constituted the Hema Committee with a clear mandate to conduct a thorough investigation into the issues faced by women in the Malayalam film industry and to recommend actionable solutions to address these challenges. One of the most shocking revelations of the Justice Hema Committee was the extent of gender discrimination embedded in the industry. Women, regardless of their talent or experience, were consistently marginalized, their contributions undervalued, and their opportunities severely limited. The report quotes one of the victims. "It's disheartening. No matter how hard we work, how talented we are, we're always seen as less than our male counterparts. The pay gap is glaring, and the roles offered to us are often reductive, reinforcing outdated stereotypes." The committee highlighted several key areas of discrimination, which include pay disparity. Women were paid significantly less than men, even when they had comparable or greater experience and popularity. Role allocation. Women were typecast into stereotypical roles, while complex and challenging roles were almost exclusively reserved for male actors. Lack of recognition. Women's contributions behind the camera, in roles such as direction, cinematography, and editing, were often overlooked or attributed to male colleagues. Perhaps the most harrowing findings of the Justice Hema Committee centered around the pervasive sexual harassment and exploitation within the industry. The committee uncovered numerous incidents that revealed a culture where inappropriate behavior was not only common, but normalized. Shockingly, most production houses did not have internal complaints committees, or ICCs, as required by the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act, 2013. This left victims with no formal avenue to report harassment or seek justice, trapping them in a cycle of silence and fear. The committee quoted another victim who mentioned, "The fear is real. Speaking out means risking everything, your career, your reputation, even your safety. The industry operates on fear, and that's how they keep you quiet." The report detailed how women were often harassed during late-night shoots or in isolated locations, where security measures were woefully inadequate. The lack of proper safety protocols made them easy targets for predators. Safety was a luxury many women in the industry could not afford. The committee documented numerous instances where women were left vulnerable, working in unsafe environments without adequate protection. Silencing and stigmatization. The price of speaking out. The committee found a pervasive culture of silencing within the industry. Women who dared to speak out against the injustices they faced were often labeled as troublemakers or accused of damaging the industry's reputation. As mentioned by a victim to the committee, it's a vicious cycle. If you speak out, you lose work. If you stay silent, the abuse continues. Either way, The system is rigged against you. The professional repercussions for these women were severe. Many found themselves blacklisted, receiving fewer roles, or being subjected to character assassination. The cost of speaking out was often too high to bear. The absence of institutional support. The Justice Hema Committee also highlighted the critical lack of institutional support for women in the industry. Without formal bodies or support networks, many women were left to fend for themselves in an environment that was not only hostile but dangerous. The psychological toll of enduring such a toxic work environment was profound. Yet, there were no provisions for mental health support or counseling for women who had experienced trauma. The mental health needs of these women were grossly neglected, with many suffering in silence. Stories from the shadows. The Justice Hema Committee's report is filled with testimonies from women who bravely shared their stories of abuse and exploitation. These are not just statistics. These are real women with real lives who have been deeply affected by the industry's toxic environment. One such case involved a female artist who faced relentless harassment from a senior actor. When she finally gathered the courage to report it, she found herself blacklisted from the industry. The roles dried up and her reputation was tarnished, all because she refused to stay silent. In another case, a young actress was repeatedly harassed during late-night shoots. Despite her complaints, no action was taken, and she was forced to continue working in unsafe conditions. Her pleas for help were ignored, leaving her feeling helpless and alone. The fight for justice. Recommendations and the way forward. But the Hema Committee did more than just expose these issues. They provided a roadmap for change, a set of recommendations designed to transform the Malayalam film industry into a space where women can work with dignity, respect, and safety. Mandatory establishment of ICCs. Every production house must have an internal complaints committee to address harassment. These committees should be empowered to take swift and decisive action against perpetrators. Strict safety protocols. Film sets must ensure proper security, especially during night shoots and in isolated locations. This includes the presence of trained security personnel, secure transportation for female artists and crew members, and strict adherence to safety guidelines. Support networks. Establish legal and psychological support systems for women who have faced harassment. This includes access to legal aid, counseling services, and career support for those who have been blacklisted or stigmatized. Training and awareness. Regular gender sensitivity training for all members of the industry, from top executives to crew members, to foster a respectful work environment and educate on workplace rights. This training should be mandatory and recurring, ensuring that all industry professionals understand their roles in preventing harassment and discrimination. Transparency and accountability. Introduction of standardized contracts for all artists and crew members, ensuring equal pay for equal work and protection against exploitation. Regular audits by an independent body to ensure compliance with legal standards and ethical norms. Production houses should also be required to publicly disclose their policies on gender equality, harassment, and workplace safety. Whistleblower protection. Implement strong protections for whistleblowers who report harassment or abuse. These protections should ensure that individuals who come forward are not subjected to retaliation or professional repercussions. Public awareness campaigns. Launch comprehensive public awareness campaigns to educate the general public about the rights of women in the industry and the mechanisms available for reporting and addressing harassment. The committee's recommendations, if implemented, could revolutionize the Malayalam film industry. But the responsibility lies with the industry leaders, the government, and the public to demand and enforce these changes. The impact of the report, moving forward. The Justice Hema Committee Report is more than just a document. It's a blueprint for change. It's a testament to the courage of the women who broke their silence. And it's a reminder that the fight for justice is far from over. The report has already sparked significant discussions within the industry and has led to some initial changes, but much more needs to be done. The report has also led to increased awareness and dialogue about the need for systemic reform in the industry. Training sessions, workshops, and public discussions are now being organized to address the issues highlighted in the report. But for real change to happen, there needs to be a collective effort. Industry leaders, government bodies, civil society, and the public must all work together to ensure that the Malayalam film industry becomes a safe and equitable space for everyone. Let's stand with them, support them, and work towards a future where every woman in the Malayalam film industry can thrive without fear. Subscribe and share this video and join the movement for justice.